Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cam. I'm a product marketing manager at Vendasta. And just a couple months ago or last month, we released PruPay Touchless Payments in the marketplace. And we have Bill Sedgwick here, who is the CEO of PruPay, to go through the product with us, do a demo, and then we'll have enough time for a question and answer. So Bill, take it away.
Sure. Thanks, Cam. Hi, everybody. So Bill Sedgwick here with PruPay, and I'll tell a little bit about touchless payments and kind of the history of our company and why we did this. But so Pinnacle Card is our kind of primary product that we have. It's been around for 17 years. And then as part of Pinnacle Card, we decided to bring in a payment solution to Pinnacle Card. So we launched PruPay as part of Pinnacle Card. And then when COVID hit last year, we had all this technology to allow SMBs to make payments easily on our card. But we thought, what could we do to help out businesses with during the COVID crisis? And the thought there was if we could provide them a way to simply accept payments via text messaging and then enhance those payments with things like tipping, things like convenience charges and delivery charges. We wanted to make it as simple as possible to do that. And also to provide those enhancements. And so we had recently connected and integrated PayPal's commerce platform to Pinnacle Card, which essentially unifies all of PayPal's products under one platform. And so we knew that we could leverage that integration to bring this touchless payments to bear. And then we also partnered with Vivial, who has a text messaging product, and combine those technologies along with the layer of Pinnacle Card technologies and new text that we made to create this new product. And so, and one other thing that we created as part of this was, as we were doing our market research, we had a lot of customers saying that they were over tipping, right? So during COVID, they were trying to help out by increasing their tip amounts to their servers or increasing their tip amounts to try to help out the businesses. But there really isn't a way to do that with tipping, right? You can't really help out the business directly. So in talking with our customers, we created this thing called Pay It Forward, which allows customers to actually contribute directly to the business during the COVID crisis outside of the tipping channel. So, and all of those features, all of those enhancements are optional, and the merchant can turn them on or off depending on whether it fits really well for their business or not. So they could be all on, they could be all off, or any combination in between. And then the one thing, and I'm going to show you guys all this in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to give a quick kind of description of where we came from and why we did this. But one other thing so with convenience charges or COVID charges, a lot of restaurants were adding these charges to tabs, and customers were complaining on social media. The merchants were trying to defray some of these COVID charges and then passing those through. And then consumers would go on to Facebook and say, well, I went to this restaurant and they charged me $1.99 as a COVID charge. And what's that? And they didn't tell me, et cetera. So we actually made convenience charges declinable by the consumer. So the merchant can put those on there. And if the consumer doesn't want to pay for some reason, they can just decline the charge and move on with their lives, and hopefully not go onto social media and talk about it or talk negatively about the business. So with all that being said, I will grab the screen, Kim, now. Is that okay? All righty.
Go ahead.
Grabbing the screen here. And I'm going to share my console. So this is this is essentially an agency console, right? So Thunderbolt is an agency, and we've got our Vendasta platform up and available here. So I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with how to provision products in the marketplace. But to find PruPay Touchless Payments, you just go to Discover Products under the Marketplace. And we're in there now, actually. And right now, Touchless Payments is featured under new releases. So you can find it here, or you can go to all products and then search for PruPay or Touchless, and up it pops here. And so by doing that, you can provision that into your store. I actually already have it provisioned into the store here, so I'm not going to do it again. And then so if you go to manage your store, you'll find these products already provisioned in here. So the next step then, of course, is to go to your accounts. If you have talked to one of your clients about this and they're excited about touchless payments, you just jump into accounts. and you click the client that you wish to add touchless payments to. And I would have already done that here. So it's already in this customer account. But if you haven't provisioned it over to the account yet, all you need to do is just follow the instructions that pop up on your screen. We do not charge a monthly fee for this product. However, you are able to do that if you wish. So there's no charge when the screen pops up. It says that what the wholesale fee is. There's 0 in there, and you can set that fee to whatever you wish. My recommendation personally would be to bundle that in with something else. Like say you've got a text product, text marketing product, you could bundle it in with that, or any of your other marketplace products that that Vendasta has. But you are certainly welcome to charge for the product on a monthly basis if you wish. Once you get familiar with this, you'll see how easy it is to set up and maintain. But that's your capability there. So in terms of, we've gone into the client and provisioned the product. And so in order to begin interacting with the product, you would just go in and impersonate that person to start using it. So I'm going to impersonate Victor here, who happens to be our chief engineer. And so I'm going to pop up my client center here through the Vendasta single sign-on. And so now I am in Victor Metalworks on the client side, and you can see that I have touchless payments provisioned here. And so as you go through the provisioning process, all you need to do is select the primary user for touchless payments, and then that person will be the one that can interact with it at this level. And then I'll show you staff here in just a second. But so now I'm going to go ahead and open up touchless payments. And this is your console. You can see that you're still signed in here under the Vendasta SSO, but this is the main console for PruPay touchless payments. And can I minimize this thing over here, Cam? Maybe, yeah, okay, great. So the first thing that you want to do when you've got your touchless payments provision in your customers, you go into settings and then click on payment settings. And this is the console where you will enable the different payment processing options that you've got, and then also the various options for enhancing the payments that I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to take a quick run through of this. In this case, PayPal has already been selected as the primary payment setting for this account. And it's to kind of underscore the this part of it. If your customer already has a PayPal business account, all they need to do is click enable PayPal and then sign in, and basically it's done. If PayPal needs any additional information, the screens will walk that client through the flow, and when they click OK, PayPal will be enabled as the primary processing engine for PruPay touchless payments. So it's literally that simple. And if you have any customers, and any of you folks out there that have customers that already have a PayPal business account, this is literally that simple to enable processing these touchless payments through PayPal. The second option is to actually sign up to be a merchant processor with PruPay. And that's where this is where you would do that. You would click get started over here. And then once you've got, and this is actually a merchant processing sort of standard sign up. So you would need to go through that process with PruPay. It goes through underwriting, et cetera, and you actually become a payment processor with PruPay. And then once you've done that, you'll get some API keys to plug in here, and then PruPay can be connected to this system as well. But I think, as I mentioned before, we really wanted to go to market quickly, and because we had this PayPal integration done already for PruPay, that was the first thing we went out the door with. So and in terms of frictionless boarding, that's the easiest way to go. But if your customers don't have merchant processing already and they need it, PruPay is an excellent option for that, and I would recommend it as well. The only difference between PayPal and PruPay here is that there's a 10-cent charge to process with PayPal. That comes in over and above PayPal's normal charges. With PruPay, there is no additional 10 cents charge. The rev share actually is the same to the agency community for both. It's just that because we are PruPay, we don't have to charge that additional fee. Okay, so now that you've got your payment processing set up, The next thing you're going to want to do is go into the payment settings section. And then we do currently have it set up for US and Canadian dollars. Right now, those are the only two countries that are available for PruPay Touchless. If you have clients in other countries that really would like this product, we can enable additional countries, but there would be different payment terms. A lot of times PayPal charges different fees for different countries. And so we would need to take that on as a project in order to enable that. But it is a possibility, especially if you have multiple clients in a certain country, that would be a good use case to turn on additional currencies. If you would like, if this customer would like to accept tips, you enable that here. And then for tipping, you can actually, or for the orders, you can actually set whether or not they should expire. And within the expiration, you can set that anywhere from 15 minutes to up to a month. And again, sort of a use case might be a restaurant where the restaurant wants to ensure that they're paid before they start cooking the food. So I would set that to a shorter expiration time in order to make sure that customer goes in and pays for that tab. And then the next enhancement that you would want to look at would be whether or not you wish to charge a convenience fee, or your customer wishes to charge a convenience fee. And you can set that anywhere from $0 to $5. And you can actually allow your customers to decline that convenience fee or not, totally up to you. This section right here gives your merchant the ability to explain what this is for, right? So in this case, we've got some default text in here, but so we say this cost helps us cover paper goods, packaging, utensils, and other costs related to COVID. Please understand we are trying to keep costs as low as possible and yet stay in business. Again, this is completely customizable according to the business. They can say whatever they want in this space, specifically about the convenience fee. All right, and I'm gonna leave that turned on so when I demo the actual product itself, you'll see how it works. Next would be pay it forward. And I mentioned earlier what that is. Again, you can toggle it on or off here. And then again, there is a customizable message right here in this space, which will show up when the order is being processed. In this case, we say, if you're able to help us, we're very thankful. Add any amount in this space to directly support us during the COVID-19 crisis. And hopefully your clients, customers, or your clients will have something that they would like to say in this space that's compelling if they want to use that feature. And then finally, would they like to have delivery charges enabled? If the answer is yes, you can set that delivery charge to whatever you want here. And then once you click update, we can see that the payment settings have been updated, and literally that's all you need to do to have this account up and running and ready to start processing touchless payments. The one thing that I'll add here is you can add staff members to this, which would have limited capabilities. So in this case, we have Zoriana here, and she doesn't have the ability to go into settings and change anything, right? And you wouldn't necessarily want your employees, if you're a merchant, to be able to go in and change your payment settings, et cetera. So all that Zoriana can do when she's logged in is create new payment requests and view payment requests. So I'll bounce back up here to the home screen where you can initiate these different things. And again, I'm signed in as a primary account holder here, so I can actually interact with anything that I want from this console here. What this shows is the different things that you can do, and then also it shows the most recent payments that have been requested in this space, and then you can get the status of the payments here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a payment request with the system and show you folks how that works. And all you need to have in order to create a payment request here is a cell phone number, a name, and it doesn't even need to be a full name here because your customer is really in control of all of the payment information. So you don't need to capture what you would normally have to capture to accept a credit card. I'm going to send myself a payment request for $1. Email in this case is optional. So I will go ahead and send my customer an email in this case. I'm pretending to be the merchant here. And so Bill Sedgwick will get a receipt as well as a payment request via email and via text. And so in the public notes, this is something that your customer will see And in the private notes, this is something that, say, you would want to see later, you'd want your servers to see, or potentially your delivery person. So like, for example, if you were delivering to a gated community, you could put the gate code in here, 123. You could say, you know, you put in a free dessert for this favorite customer just as a note. Somebody could grab a dessert on their way out the door. And if this order will be delivered, you just check this box here, and you can see that, I'll scroll down a little bit. You can see that the default delivery cost has been added. And then imagine the use case here where essentially you have this customer on the phone, they've placed their order, you know what their order total is. You ask if they want delivery, they say yes, your delivery cost comes up here. If, say, somebody wanted to deliver completely all the way across town, you could put in a $15 delivery charge here if you wanted to. I'm actually going to process this, so I'm going to leave it at $1. And then on the phone, when you're talking to this person, you could actually grab their address and input it here, and then it will flow through to the request. Or you can leave it blank and allow the customer to put their address in as the very first thing that they need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and create this request now, and it's processing. And I should turn on my ringer on my phone here so you guys can hear that request come in. Let's see.
While Bill's doing that too, it's important to note that this admin area here is fully accessible by mobile phone. So if you actually happen to be on site as a service technician, say like you're doing IT work or your customer is, you can actually make payment requests while you're standing there with the customer.
Yep. So I don't know if you guys, can you guys see me right now? Jeff, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to show my camera. This at the very top, you see there's a text message right there. Can you see that, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on the text message. Oops. Somehow I clicked delete on accident. So this is what the text message looks like when it comes into your phone, just a standard text message with a link. And you click on the link, and you're going to see the actual payment screen show up here. Let me see here. I'm going to pull it up on here.
Yeah, you can demonstrate it with the link that's on the right side as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened here, Victor.
I wonder if it's because we killed the account and started it back up again.
No.
That's quite unexpected, honestly, especially during the demonstration.
Right.
Of
course, when you're doing live demos, this is what happens, right? This is the
it's what makes it fun, Bill.
right. Well, it's good that we have Victor on here because he's our.
Hey, Bill, why don't you go back to the dashboard to an account that we didn't deprovision and reprovision multiple times?
Okay.
So go back to your partner center and go into a different account that we haven't been blowing up every moment.
All right, let's just go here.
It's not usual for your customer to deprovision and provision services a few times over. So
it's some new use case that I haven't seen before. Just like it's really kind of weird situation. So literally went through this morning. It was working. It's probably because we reused the same account. This is why it happened.
Yeah. Okay, so I just went into a different account here, and it's actually up. So something's happening there between we had turned that account on and off a few times today. And so probably something happened. So what I did is just real quickly open up an actual live account that is up and running and process this payment for $1. So let me see if I can. Yeah, so basically this is the screen the first screen that's going to pop up. And this is where the customer is going to be getting this on their mobile device. And so you can see that there's a request for $1 in here. There's a 10-cent convenience charge. The question mark that pops up here, it shows that special message that we typed in there before, so that the customer knows what that 10-cent charge is for. And I can click here to decline that. And you can see that that's gone away. For the tipping amount, it's currently set at 10%. If I toggle this over, I can move it up to 25%. You can see that the tip has jumped up to 25% there on $1. And then this is the pay it forward functionality, where I can actually contribute directly to the business. And then this question mark right here is that message that we had shown on the payment settings page related to pay it forward specifically. So
yes. Okay, I found the issue. I know exactly what happened.
Okay. Let me know if you want me to bounce back over to the other one, Victor, but I'll just keep moving here. So within the payment processing capability, this account actually has PruPay payments turned on. So I can key in my credit card information here to process this payment. Or if I click on Pay with PayPal, you can see the PayPal Smart Checkout buttons pop up here. And I'm actually going to decrease that a little bit. And then, so again, imagine that you're on the mobile device here of your customer. The customer's logging into their PayPal account. If they had it up and running, it would just go straight to this next page for the payments if they were already logged into their PayPal account. You can see that the charge numbers up here and how it's going to pay. Click Pay with PayPal. This payment is currently processing.
Yeah, what you didn't see behind there was Bill didn't pop the window for you all to see his username and password.
Yeah,
but there's a light box modal that comes up to prompt you to log into PayPal, and it follows the normal PayPal process.
Yep. So that process is complete. This payment has been completed, and if I go back to the Browse Payment Request console, you can see this payment for $225 is now currently paid. And at the merchant level, I can check out this payment and see what happened. So I've got $1 for pay it forward. I've got a 25-cent tip. I declined the convenience charge. And this was my subtotal on my thing here. And so that is as simple as that is how you process payment requests using touchless payments. So, that's really it.
On that issue, what happens are when we deactivated the account after testing first time, it's actually, there is kind of like security protocols that block access to that company. And with Vendasta, it's a little bit different because we use single sign-on.
Right.
So all I have to do is just re-enable that account if somebody trying to reprovision it was for the same client. So it's kind of one-line fix, but it's kind of interesting that we found it because I didn't expect that it will work this way.
Of course, we find things like that on a live demonstration. Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so that account should work now, but
okay. I just want to show. So I think maybe what I should do now because I got something really exciting to show as well. But if I bounce back over to the main screen, Cam, have you seen any questions, or do you want to open it up for questions now?
Yeah, we can open it up for questions. I just have one comment here, which is euros, and I believe this refers to the currency that is currently being supported, which he explained earlier was for now US and Canada. Will we be opening it to euros, or would that be possible?
It would be possible. We just would need talk to the clients that are interested in that and find out kind of what the scale is. It's not crazy hard to do that, but it would be it would take us a little bit to get that turned on. I mean, basically it's a PayPal provisioning, and we would need to make sure that the customers were aware of any changes, any differences in charges for euros. And so PayPal is available in, I forget how many countries worldwide, but it is very well distributed worldwide. And anywhere that PayPal can be used as a payment method, we can turn on. It's just that we wanted to leave that open because they do charge significantly different amounts in different areas. We looked at Trinidad, for example, for one client, and the charges they felt were kind of prohibitive to making it make sense for that client. So we didn't bother with it. But again, we're open to it for sure, and we can do it. It's just a matter of looking at the case and making sure that the client knows what the associated charges would be.
All right, so you can reach out to the PruPay team after if you are interested or might have any clients who are processing in a different currency. I have another question here, a very important question. How much is your processing fee? Similar to how Stripe has their own processing fee, how much is PruPay?
Right, so PruPay and PayPal are both 2.9 plus 30, which is pretty much the industry standard for card not present transactions. And the only difference is that with PruPay touchless payments, there's a 10-cent per transaction charge for PayPal that is added to the 2.9 plus 30. So it's 2.9 plus 40 for PayPal, and for PruPay, if they sign up for PruPay as a merchant, it's 2.9 plus 30. And again, we don't charge an additional monthly fee for touchless payments. If you're a PruPay customer or if you're a PayPal customer, there's no monthly fee for touchless payments. Again, you could charge a monthly fee as an agency if you wish, and that's your prerogative when you provision it over to your store. There's a pop-up that asks you what your retail price is, and that's all baked into the back-end billing systems of Vendasta.
Hey, Bill, if I may, Cam, I'll ask a quick question. In terms of like posting a receipt, I'm assuming a lot of this is manual. A small business or a restaurant is automatically billing from the portal. Can I take, let's say I'm a an auto repair. Can I copy and paste what we've done into portions of that portal and show the work to be done on the receipt when you send it? Or is that not advisable?
The receipt that you get essentially is just the processing receipt that I showed on the screen.
Yeah.
Now, with that, and that will show up to your client both on their mobile device, and if they put in their email, they'll get that email as well. And those are automatically generated and calculated through the system. So there isn't any way within Touchless to append that, right? There's
show
no
them the work that was done.
Right. Yeah, it's not really meant for that. Now, that's actually a great segue into something that I wanted to show you guys here in a minute. That's a new product addition that we're adding to touchless payments. But let's go back to that once you kind of see what that is and see if that helps.
Awesome. Before we jump on that, Bill, I just have one more question here.
Sure.
For PruPay. Does your competition charge monthly fees, and how much?
So we really haven't seen competition specifically for PruPay touchless payments. There are other companies, obviously, that have text-based payment capabilities. And I don't think that they charge additional fees or monthly fees over and above for that. But the difference really between our product and those products is these enhancements that we've added to the text-based payments. So essentially, like you can send a text-based payment request from most PayFacs. Some of them do have convenience fee capabilities. I've seen that. I haven't seen tipping, and I haven't seen pay it forward. We actually have a patent pending on pay it forward in this kind of a context, in this kind of a business context. So I haven't seen that before either. And I think that your customers will be surprised, especially if you have a loyal customer base, how generous their customers are, right? So your merchants will be impressed, and I think pleasantly surprised that their customers are are very willing to help them out and to give them something additional over and above the charges when they're processing these payments.
I have a question. I was late by a couple of minutes to the meeting, but I just want to clarify the deposits. Where do they go? Do they go into, can you set it up deposits into bank accounts, or is it only PayPal exclusive?
So yes, that's a great question. Thanks, Tim. So if you're using PayPal through the system, the payments are immediately deposited into their PayPal business account. And that's also like if they wanted to do a refund or if they needed to do a partial refund, you do that within the PayPal business account console. And then same thing with PruPay. If they're signed up and they're attached to PruPay merchant processing, whatever bank account they attach to their merchant processing account is where those funds will settle into. And then same thing with refunds, et cetera, on PruPay.
And how long does it take?
PayPal is immediate. And then PruPay is the same, is like a batch, just like you would on a normal credit card, right? So the business can schedule their batch payments. With PruPay, we actually have a thing called instant merchant settlement. And there's an additional charge for that. I think it's $1.25 per batch, but they can actually get their money immediately 24/7, 365, no matter whether it's a holiday, weekend, et cetera, after hours. That's available within, that's available within PruPay as well. I turned on my sound to let you guys hear the text coming in, and of course that wasn't turned off. So let me do that real quick.
So you're saying through the Vendasta platform, we can charge for the service if we see fit? Correct.
Yeah, when you add the service to your marketplace store, there's a light box that pops up that says wholesale fee, and that's set to 0, and then the retail fee you can set to whatever you want.
And can customers go directly to you and bypass us once they learn about it through us?
They could, I suppose, right? They could go to PruPay.com and sign up for touchless payments. But we would recommend that you guys sign them up through Vendasta, and then we'll see that come through. So if we saw somebody come in that had already been provisioned in Vendasta, we would just refer them back to you through that channel.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
I have a sort of related question here. So as a Vendasta partner offering PruPay, do partners receive some type of monies for the clients using PruPay, or is it just that optional, if they want to tack on that monthly fee for using the platform?
Oh yeah, partners receive 3 cents for every transaction that gets processed through the system. So the way that works is that we charge it through PayPal or through PruPay, because it's 2.9 plus 30. So there's a 30-cent transactions charge with PruPay and a 40-cent transactions charge with PayPal. The 10 cents being the add-on on PayPal. And so every transaction that gets processed through Vendasta partners get 3 cents per transaction, in addition to whatever they would charge on a monthly basis.
And how is that paid?
We pay Vendasta, Vendasta pays you.
And does Vendasta take a cut of that?
Vendasta gets a cut. You get 3 cents.
Okay.
Yeah, we're paying more than that, and Vendasta gets their percentage as well.
Okay. And can we book a meeting with you if we want to investigate adding this to our suite of services? Absolutely. And we have some customers that are interested.
Absolutely. Right now, I don't know if we have Calendly built into the touchless provisioning side. I know we have that on Pinnacle Cart, but anybody that's on this call could send me an email directly to bill@prupay.com to book a meeting.
Perfect.
Awesome. We don't have any questions anymore. So Bill, why don't you show us what's coming up for PruPay?
Great. Yeah, I'm excited to show this. We literally are just rolling this out. It'll be available in that same interface that you saw next week. So I think I need to take the screen over again, don't I? Let's see. I apologize, I am not the Zoom aficionado here. You can't see my screen right now, can you, Cam?
I can't.
Okay, so let me go. I found it again here. There we go. Okay, so can you guys see it now?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, so. Okay, so this is going to look familiar, obviously, but what we've done, so how we're positioning this company is really as an easy payment solution for local SMBs, and that really kind of hits squarely at the heart of the 3.5 million SMBs that are part of the Vendasta ecosystem. And we asked ourselves a few weeks ago, how can we make this product more valuable to that community? And the answer was basically to allow them to add an easy way to take payments on their website. And so this kind of goes back to that invoice question, and how can you do that? So on a real simple implementation, basically you've created, probably with Vendasta, a website for your customer. And again, I'm going to use this Thunderbolt group as an example. But say Thunderbolt group has invoiced their customer and they want to get paid on their website. You just add a tab, or however your nav is set up on your website for payments. And then what we will do through Touchless Payments is provision for you a secure form for you to process those payments. And so I'm going to show you the functionality here real quick, and then I'll show you kind of how it works on the back end next. So again, all you need to do is kind of put in the first and last name, an email, an amount here, and then a reference ID, right? This could be an invoice number, for example, or some kind of a transaction ID, what have you. It goes in this field. So I'll just put something in here and then submit this payment request, or this is actually a payment that I'm making here. And then I'm now securely logged in. I can put in a new credit card here and make my payment with all the major credit cards. I send payment. And again, that payment is going directly into the associated bank account on PruPay or PayPal. So, and then we're also going to be enabling, shortly after launch, we'll be enabling this ACH payment capability, which significantly cuts down on the processing charges. So a lot of contractors, companies that typically have fewer transactions but higher value transactions that don't want to pay 2.9%, they can use ACH payments through this system and save a bunch of money there. And there's a different structure for ACH payments, and we'll be updating as well as soon as that comes out. But let me jump back over to that payment. Oops. Here we go. Wait. Yeah, here we go. So custom payment forms. Once you've got your client signed up for PruPay Touchless Payments, it's so easy to add a new form. So you just go down here, click this. You can call it whatever you want. So I'll call this easy payment form, and then describe it. Geez. And then add. And already you've created this form. That's all you need to do once you've got them signed up for Touchless Payments. This assumes that they've connected, they've done the settings and connected PayPal or PruPay to process payments. And then literally this form is done. All you need to do is grab this script here from this, and then drop that into the code of the website on the page that you created, and the form will embed into that website on that payments page. So I'll just show real quick how it looks. And so easy as that, assume that we'd already created the page. This form is ready to rock and roll for that client and accept payments. So we see this as another way really to appeal to that SMB, local SMB space where, maybe they're not a high volume of transactions like a restaurant, for example, or they're a plumbing company, roofing company, HVAC company, garage door company, flooring company, any of those, typical old school yellow page companies that want to accept payments touchlessly, but they don't need to enhance those payments, with tipping, et cetera, or they're a little bit more old school. They don't want to deal with text messaging or what have you. This is a really great simple way to accept payments touchlessly. Just send them to the payments page on your website and have them processed securely there. So we're really excited about this. We think that it applies and appeals to a broader customer base within the Vendasta ecosystem, and it's connected right up to touchless. So there you go.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll ask real quick.
Sure.
Just in terms of, does this integrate with the text where you're either sending them to the website on a mobile, or are you, is this kind of separate from the text?
Yeah, this is actually an alternative to text, and they could have both set up if they want, right? So they can still use regular standard touchless payments by text with the enhancements, or you can help them, or they can go ahead and create a form right here within that interface and add this as a payment form as well. The same payments apply both to you as the partner, and the charges apply the same to the customers. The same 10-cent charge applies to these with PayPal, and then they're waived for PruPay.
Right. So this is more for someone that knows what they owe, that's coming to the website and paying, versus I'm sending them a text with a $10 automatically associated with that, right?
Yeah, this is more to come in and pay an invoice, for example. A plumber is a great example of this, right? They go out, they do the work, and they send an invoice over to that customer. The customer can just click a link on the invoice, jump in here and pay via credit card or ACH. Another cool thing about this is that limits can be set. So like, say you're cool with paying 2.9% on any invoices up to $500, for example. If you send them an invoice for $1,000, well, you don't want to pay 2.9% on $1,000 to the merchant processor. So you have them go in, and they would automatically default to an ACH payment, where they just put in their routing number, bank number, and the amount paying, and click process, and that money, it's just like a digital check essentially. There's no
right.
percentage charged on it.
But that's not saved in the system.
No.
Okay.
No, it's a one-time ACH basically that's capable through the system. Yep.
Very cool.
So where this really is helpful is most service providers, at least in our area where I'm at, they'll come out, do the work, hand you the goldenrod form, and then they'll call in your credit card to the home base. So adding to the touchless experience, right? Now they can go right to the website and pay for their actual invoice directly. And the one thing, Bill, you didn't show them was the additional fields that can be added onto the form as well.
Right. So I'll show that real quick. So one more cool feature here is that you can actually go in to these forms and add fields to the form. So you can say, okay, I'm going to call this, what should I call this, Jeff?
Tax ID.
Sure.
Great. There you go. Good one, Victor. So tax ID, field type, you have a couple of different types of fields that you can add here. So in this case, this would just be a text area. Yeah.
I would just do text. It's short text.
Yep. And then save changes. And that field has been added to the form. We'll do another one. So add a title here. So this one would be, give me another one, Victor. Different type.
Tax exempt or checkbox?
Yes, no, yeah.
Yep, so this would be a checkbox. Priority.
You have to enter checked and unchecked values. Wait.
Right.
Yes, no.
So we're just enhancing the fields in the form basically now.
So is their
Okay.
email already on there so that they can get a confirmation of payment, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just going to show this now customized form here. And you can see that the tax exempt is there, and the tax ID field is there as well. So there's a couple of different options that you can choose to enhance your payment forms.
So we're still working on that feature. It's kind of like current development, but it's pretty much done. We're kind of testing it at
But
this
it's
moment.
a sneak peak
Yep.
of what we're building on this platform.
There are many different use cases for this particular form. One of them may be like donation form. You can, like some charity or some organization just can put it as a, make a donation. So somebody can just go to their website, fill it in and put custom amount and do a donation. It will go directly to their PayPal account or like through the PruPay if it's enabled.
Yeah. And using the custom forms, you can also then designate, should it go to a general fund or maybe a specific wildlife, or how you want those proceeds to be used. So that's where the enhancements on the form really come into play.
Awesome. I have a question here about recurring payments or subscriptions. Does this platform currently support that?
Yes, it does. The so PruPay does support that, and so forms. Victor, help me out here. Will forms support recurring payments?
At this moment, we did not plan it, but if you will do payments through PruPay, I think there is the way how to make it recurring. We just did not think about that yet. There was like initially there was very specific use case for those forms, so we tried to make it fit basically to that use case, and over time we realized that there are maybe a little bit more different abilities or possibilities, and so we did it. But till this time, when you're doing recurrent billing, usually you want to know more information about client and have like a little bit more control over like what's going on, like not just like allow client to fill in the form and start on its own. So Bill will show you now how it can be done, but not through Touchless. Touchless was supposed to be lightweight, simple, quick platform to get money as quick as possible.
Right. So what I've just pulled up here is the PruPay merchant payment console, right? So if you've ever used Authorize.net or any other PayFac, this is a similar interface to probably what you're used to using. And this is, if your customers sign up for PruPay, this is the console that they'll use to do things like that, right? So the virtual terminal allows them to process payments, just by, like, for example, over the phone. They can set up payments here. They can take payments over the phone, or they can actually set up payments here as well, for example. So So then you can actually tokenize credit cards in the system. If you put them in here, you can use existing cards, for example. It'll give you the card. Select this card, etc. So this would actually process a payment for that. So if your customers sign up for PruPay, they can run it. They can run all those things through here. And what we would do is set up a time to essentially explain to them the different capabilities that they've got within these systems. And this is actually a live account, so I don't want to do too much in here right now. But yes, the answer is yes for recurring payments. It would be done here, though, not within the payment form.
So one of the kind of notes is that there is two different things. PruPay Touchless Payments, which more like service, and PruPay, which is payment gateway payment provider. So PruPay Touchless service that available through Vendasta uses PruPay payment gateway. What you see at this moment, it's a part of the gateway. Touchless, it's separate service that just kind of like uses some of the features that available through the PruPay.
PruPay gateway,
Those
right?
two different things.
Yep.
They're not the same.
And
Okay.
same thing with PayPal. So if they connected their touchless payments account to PayPal, they would process just like they would normally on PayPal business account. So if they wanted to do recurring payments within PayPal, they could do that. If they wanted to do a refund, for example, they could do that. It has to happen over there on that particular platform, not within the touchless product.
So when we initially did that service, we actually worked closely with PayPal, with people from PayPal, and what they actually have the possibility to send invoice through PayPal. You can do it through PayPal as well. But when you get in PayPal invoice, you have no way to, first of all, there are no way to add custom fields to it. There are no way to ask extra questions. And the most important thing is that there are no way like how you can add tip or like do pay it forward or like add custom charges.
Right.
So this is how it's different from kind of if you just would be using PayPal by itself. So this is kind of on top of PayPal in this sense.
All right, we have about 6 minutes left for the webinar, and we have 2 questions in the chat. So first question is, who gets the first call for any issues or if a transaction falls through the crack? Does the call directly go through you, or will it go through the partner or the reseller?
So yeah, typically it would come directly to us, right? So they're a customer of PruPay at that point, and we have customer support available to help them with transactions. If they had an issue on the PayPal side, for example, with a refund or something like that, PayPal's very robust in terms of responding to customer inquiries, etc.
All right. And then next, if they were to choose how much to charge their clients for the monthly fee for using the platform, what would be a good MSRP range for that?
Again, completely up to the partner in terms of how hands-on they're going to be with the customer, right? So I think that if you're going in and you're maintaining this for your clients and you're setting them up and getting them up and going, I think that there's value there, certainly, as their advisor. And I think it's fair to get paid for that. So, I would think that, $10 to $20 per month, depending on whether you're bundling it or keeping it as a separate item, would probably be a fair number to charge. Of course, and then in addition to that, you're going to catch the transactional revenue on top of that.
All right. Are there any charging limits?
No, I mean, the only limits that are really set would be according to either PayPal or PruPay, right? So when, and really the charging limits happen on the customer side, right? So if their credit card is declined by PayPal or PruPay, then that's kind of where the limits come in. We don't set limits on our side. There may be, if in the future, if they add ACH, there usually is a limit on an ACH transfer because those are bank-to-bank transfers, and there's an additional underwriting process that they would need to go into for ACH as well. But yeah, I mean, those limits are well known to the vendor when those come through.
All right. We have time for maybe one more question if anyone has one more.
Sure.
Okay, one more here. Do you have an app or does it work with Apple Pay?
So this is a web app, so there isn't any app for the merchant or the customer to download to process these payments. But So Apple Pay wouldn't necessarily work unless they use Apple Pay as a credit card, right? So, so we're not wired up directly to Apple Pay or Google Pay for that matter.
The good thing about having it web-based though is that you can use any device to work with this, either as like the small business or the client accessing it.
Right. So if Apple Pay, for example, is automatically filling in your credit card number, like if you have it on your device and it does that function, then you could use Apple Pay to pay. A lot of times, like with Google, I don't use Apple or Mac products, but with Google, every form that I go to, Google recognizes it as a payment form and automatically fills in my saved information or my tokenized information from my Google account. So that's how it works from our perspective. It's basically just as if you were filling out a web form and Google recognized that form to pay. It automatically fills it in. You usually just type in your CVV number and you're good to go.
But Cam, your original statement is correct, which is if the merchant is talking to a customer, they don't need to download an app to actually make the payment. It's they get a text message or they can go to the form and they're ready to go. There's no friction or onboarding process the customer has to take to onboard an app, sign up, go through that whole thing. It's ready to go out of the gate.
Yep.
All right. I think that's all the time that we have for today. So thank you, Bill, Jeff, and Victor, for showing us through your very robust platform. And like it's very simple, but has all those features specifically with a small business in mind when you created this, and it really shows. And thanks for letting us get a sneak peek at your upcoming new features. And to everyone, watch out for those. We'll be announcing that as soon as it's ready to go. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you in our next Vendasta webinar. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.